Good evening. This meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners is called to order on June 30th, 2026 at 5:38 PM. This meeting is being held in person and/or remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 and all other applicable laws temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the Town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Is anyone else recording the meeting this evening? Seeing none, I'll state for the record, participating tonight, myself, Liz Klein, Julie Straley, and Bill Ramsey. Next is approval of minutes. I think we have one set. You ready to proceed?
I'm ready.
Okay, take a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes dated March 24th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor, roll call vote. Julie?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Next on the agenda is adoption of FY27 Weir River Water System Water Usage Rates. Do we have Russ Tierney with us? Water Superintendent Russ Tierney is joining.
Can you hear me?
Hey Russ, how are you?
How is everybody?
Good.
Sorry, I was not a panelist. I am now, or whatever.
There we see you.
Hey, everybody, how are you?
You.
So, in October of 2025, we sent a letter out to all of our customers regarding a rate increase of 3% and a capital debt service assessment of $65 per residential customer to take effect on July 1st, 2026. Then we proceeded to have meetings in January. We had a whole session on why we needed this money, what we're doing with this money, and how it was going to help the Weir River water system get to where we want to be over the next 10 years. So this rate increase was approved by everybody, but we do need a final approval from the Board of Water Commissioners to enact it on July 1st.
Excellent, thank you. Do we want to go through the slides? Or just as a reminder to members of the public, this was voted on by town meeting, Hingham Town Meeting in April. So as Russ said, this is the final step of the process, but it has been approved by the town.
Well, Liz, if anybody wants to look at the slides, they are available on our website. The entire presentation is there. If they have any questions, they can feel free to reach out.
Okay, excellent. So this is, again, for reference, the presentation that was shown January 28th, 2026. If people want to see more information about the water system and the rationale for the rate increase. Any questions, Julie?
No questions.
Bill?
No questions.
Any questions or comments from members of the public? No? Okay. We ready to take a vote?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adopt the Weir River Water System FY27 water usage rates as presented.
Second.
Roll call vote. Julie?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously and goes into effect tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russ.
No problem.
Next on the agenda is Veolia and Water Superintendent update. Do we have Darren with us?
Yep.
Good evening. My name is Darren Durth, Project Manager for Veolia, Weir River Water. Give you a couple updates on what we've been doing for the water usage and the shortage of. We have been going out each morning, each evening, and all day, tagging violations for first offenders, second offenders. We have a list of over 220 first violations, over 21 second violations, and we have a list of more than 3 offenses that are ready for shut-off. All of their curbs have been painted, curb stops have been painted blue. All of these violations have pictures taken that are on a shared Google Drive.
And just to clarify, these are violations, meaning that they're using their irrigation systems?
Yeah, some homes with over 24 irrigation heads, football fields running for hours and hours.
Okay. Are there businesses on that list as well? Or,
So there are some businesses, but some of those are wells. So like,
okay,
Sergeant William Terry Drive, they have a well. Talbot's, they have a well. So although we appreciate everyone reporting it, we check everything against our list provided by the Board of Health. Be sure that someone isn't getting a violation notice if they are on a well. They are supposed to be registered with the Board of Health. We have recommended that for convenience for both them and ourselves, put a sign up, as you are supposed to, with your well ID number, or at least say, well water. It avoids the aggravation for everybody else.
okay,
So we're focused a lot on that. As far as updates with the plant and the distribution system, we've completed calibrating all of the large meters in the distribution system, along with all the analyzers in the plant lab equipment, sampling equipment, as you know, calibrated for annual Mass DEP requirements. And the crews continue to prepare for a sanitary survey, which is yet to be scheduled.
okay.
Focusing a lot of time on the water restrictions.
Yes,
So-
understood. As we should be. Certainly, we know going into the 4th of July holiday is a challenging period for us, as well as the impending heat wave. So can you just talk about what proactive steps we're taking this week?
So we are going out, we're out every morning, we're out every night. We're letting people know they're not supposed to be irrigating, and for the most part, they'll shut them off. And you go by again a few hours later, you gotta remind them again, because they turned it back on.
Okay, and from a tank management perspective, what are we doing from that
We're
side?
we're filling the tanks as quickly as we can. The irrigation systems are like clockwork at 3 o'clock, draining down the tanks. And so we lose a foot or so each night. So if we get up to 64 feet one night, and then the next night, we're only able to get up to 62 feet. 3 o'clock hits, doesn't matter if it's raining, it does not even matter. 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the tanks drop. So you keep losing that. And then when we send out these notifications, people do listen, and it makes a difference. That's why we had that turnaround. After those couple of weeks where it was tight, we had the turnaround. We had that breathing room. You still had tank turnover, which is important, but you also got your tank levels up to where they should be. So fire protection, healthy, safe drinking water is number one.
Right, right. Well, thank you for your attention to it. It's certainly our priority. Do you have questions or comments, or do you want to have Russ do his update?
Let's have rest.
Okay. Russ, you want to go ahead?
Absolutely. Just to say on down was saying, we want to urge our residents that we are trending down again. We do have more notifications coming out, but we really would just like to tell people, just please shut off the irrigation systems. We want to get through the holiday weekend without any issues. So we really would like to have people comply over the weekend and going forward. So it's just a, reminder and a plea to everybody to just please let us have the water for what we need it for, and that's fire protection and drinking water. So on my report, PFAS, we remain in compliance with all the current regulations. The Apex report draft is to be submitted by the end of July for review. Our next round of sampling is this month. Our water transmission main study is ongoing. We installed some new pressure taps in a section that we feel may have some restrictions in it. So we installed those, and they're coming out next week to run some tests to see if we can isolate that further. We did get conditional approval for a new replacement well at Free Street. This well is going to be about 800 gallons a minute. We do have a few things to do conservation-wise, yeah, with our Concom. So I just got that today from the engineers, and I'm going to work with them next week to get a few things done that we need to get done to start that test and installation. We're looking at July, August to get that put in place. The AMI system, we met with Neptune on June 3rd to kick off the project. They've been working very closely with Brian to locate the collectors and review the locations for power and internet service. The collectors and other computer equipment scheduled for installation by the start of August and then in through the end of August, early September. We are also working with Veolia and HMLP to get as many meters and MIUs replaced or repaired before the October startup. The HMLP transition is tomorrow morning. We had our final 4 meetings today with all the stakeholders. Veolia did a great job on their billing side to help us transition. The first bill will be out August 1st, which will be a combined electric bill and water bill for Hingham residents. It'll be a separate water bill for Hull and North Cohasset residents. Postcards were sent out in mid-June, and we're actually going to send another letter out next week. That's going to explain what the bill looks like and how it's going to read. There was a press release that was finalized yesterday that will be going out tomorrow morning. And then the final bill changes, how they're going to look, is being done this week and next week. And we're going to give it to the CAB to review. Capital projects, Samoset and Manamet and Hull, we did design both. They are at 75%. We were planning on meeting before I went out, but that got put to the side and postponed until I get back. But now Hull has decided to pave those 2 streets. I did have conversations with the town of Hull, and we are going to put in our budget to do a 2-inch overlay. Unless they get money from the state to redo the sidewalks and all of the ADA compliant things on those 2 streets, if that happens, then they will do the repave the year after we're done with this tip money. The 3A project is at 90% completion. The design should be going out to bid in the next few months for construction in fall and next winter and then into the spring. Strawberry Hill Tank and Booster Station, the relocation of the Hull Communications will be done in August. The tank bid will go out in August and the booster station in September. All the design work's just about completed, and they're working on some of the final approvals from the town of Hull. Our drought management. We are working on a new drought management plan to line up with the state. Currently, we are in a level 2 significant drought status of May 1st. What the state has in place is a guidance document, so we can use that as guidance to create our own document. We are working on it. It has been reviewed at a few different levels. We're going to continue to work on that and then present it to the board for implementation next year. But currently, we are in a level 2, no lawn watering. No matter any kind of lawn watering, whether it be a hose, irrigation systems, all need to be turned off and not utilized. Again, the new plan will be in front of the board for next season. And I also added onto my report kind of what we look like right now for first offenses, second offenses. Again, this is all pending approval from everybody. And that's about what we have.
Okay. And that will go in front of the CAB, correct? If people,
It already
members
has,
of the
it already has.
public?
I gave it to the CAB. They're reviewing it now, got some feedback. Once we do the final, we'll give it one more look at that for them, and then we'll present it to the board.
Okay. And will the CAB be having a public meeting to review this?
That's up to Dave. I'm gonna talk to him at the end of next week, but again, I'm waiting for their comments and all that stuff, but we'll see.
Okay. Great. Julie, questions or comments?
Hi, Russ, and thanks for coming in, Darren.
Hi, Julie.
I actually, it's a question probably for both of you, but just in terms of tagging violations, so first of all, are you finding more violations in the town of Hingham, or are you finding them also heavy numbers in Hull, or how is that shaping?
Mostly in Hingham.
Mostly.
We go throughout all 3 towns, North Cohasset, Hull, but for the most part, it mostly has been in Hingham.
Okay. And you said you got tagged so far 21 second offenses,
Yes,
second violations.
that number will go up after tomorrow morning.
Okay. So then you're sort of in a position to find, after a second offense, the shut-off list.
Right,
And-
so that's a
and how hard-
Correct.
How hard and when are we
That's
going
correct,
to go
Julie.
on this?
In accordance with, yeah, in accordance with our regulations, after the second offense, we can shut off. And we're urging the board to back us up on that because we're at a point now where we need to start shutting people off to show people that we're serious.
Yeah, I think if people are ignoring that we're pleading as best we can and in all different ways that this is a serious situation. And, so,
Yes, I do think we need
recommend-
more education, and I know we've tried to do a lot of that. So we need to be creative about how to get the word out, but I think people have a really hard time wrapping their head around how much water an irrigation system takes,
Right.
right? And just, I mean, I think, Russ, you and I talked about it in very simple terms. It's like 12 hoses running for 8 hours straight, and how much
Yeah.
water that is relative to a shower, for example, or, you know, running your faucet, or even a load of laundry. It's magnitudes different in terms of
It
the
is, and
amount of water.
We've showed residents that complain about a high water bill. We'll show them on the system that we have now, which is a little different than the one we're getting. And we'll print out a graph and say, look at, this is your house from 3 AM to 6 AM. And this is how much water you're actually using. And a lot of them are like, I didn't know I used that much water.
Right,
And then they kind of curve down their systems. I mean, the thing we want to get out to everybody is you only need to put 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water on your lawn a week. You only need to water every other day or 3 times a week. People that water every day are just wasting water. And it's also, in a lot of cases, it's doing more damage to your grass because it's oversaturating it. But again, to have a healthy, strong lawn, you only need to water 1 inch a week and about 3 times a week. So it's just getting education out there. We have it on our website. We are going to do some more mailings and things of that such. But the other thing we really want to stress to people is get on the system where we can make calls so that when we go to some kind of water restrictions or water changes in the water restrictions that we're doing, that we can call people. We're about to mail out we mailed out 12,500 postcards talking about the water restrictions, and it would be faster if we could just call everybody or email everybody, and we're really urging people to get on the system so that we can do that.
yes, and I know we've
But right
talked,
now, yeah.
we've talked about that before, how to, can you just explain again how to get on the system? And then also, is it a push notification that we can use the My Hingham app for?
I'll talk to Art about that, but we are changing over to HMLP, so it's going to change the notification system. So right now, anyone that's on HMLPs will automatically be on ours. And then we're going to push a new, which we'll call a campaign to get everyone signed up. So I'm working with HMLP on that next week.
Okay. Maybe though.
The other thing too is I
maybe-
think our
So-
next step is to go out tonight and tag doors with shut off notices and go shut them off tomorrow morning. Meaning we won't shut them off in the middle of the night. We'll tag them tonight and then tomorrow morning go back to those houses and just shut them off. These people are second, third, and fourth offenses. And I think we need to get the word out that we're serious about this and we will shut water off.
Okay, so if you tag tonight and you show up in the morning, are you knocking on the door before the water
We
is
always
turned
do.
off?
We always, our SOP is to knock on the door and see if anybody's home before we shut the water off.
Okay, thank you. Julie, did you, I know you had a list.
I always have more. Russell, just back to what you said a couple minutes ago, you were explaining that lawns really need only one inch of water a week. But right now, we need to make sure that we stress to people that we're not giving any water to the lawns right now.
No,
unless it
agreed.
rains. Right.
Absolutely
So
no. We don't
total
want lawns
water.
watered at all.
Okay,
So if you read up on lawn care, your lawn goes dormant. Now, if you have a good root base, nothing's going to happen to it. It's just going to turn brown. The minute you get water on it in September, October, or even the end of August, it's going to come right back. It's not like an athletic field where if you allow it to go dormant and people keep running on it and using it, it's going to tear the root system out. That's way different than what we're talking about. These are just green lawns that will go dormant and will come back.
Okay, and then a question about the advanced metering infrastructure. I asked this
Yep.
at, the Citizens Advisory Board met last week. It was a good meeting, and, but my question was, so we implement this system starting this fall in Hull, and then we roll it out into Hingham sometime next year, right?
We are looking at Lee and then a lot of Hingham because we're finding the more we locate the collectors, we're getting more data than we thought we were going to get from right now. So we should have a good chunk of the system reading on this system earlier than we expected.
Okay, great. So about this time next year, we have another drought situation.
Yep.
AMI is more of a useful tool, right? Because you're able
Correct.
to, instead of driving around and have Darren's staff driving around and looking for verification, you can really
Yep.
tell what exactly is happening, real-time data, right?
Yeah, we can set alerts or notices on our system that say these addresses are watering, have water running between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. That'll allow us, instead of driving around, we can put calls into those individuals or emails and just say, we know you're watering your grass. You know, this is your first notice that we know you're doing it. And going forward, we'll, follow the procedure for notifications and fines.
And then just to be clear, the amount of water that's being pumped out of the system when you're running irrigation is far different than when you're taking a shower. So you would be able to differentiate between a whole household of people getting up at 6 and showering and all that versus what's being pumped out for irrigation. So there's going to be no false positives or false negatives, right? Like you'll know.
No, nope, there's not, nope.
Okay.
Plus, the
and
system
then-
will take in, Julie, the system will take into account their average usage over the winter. And if it triples, something else is going on besides just a shower. So if someone's using 200 gallons a day during the winter and into the early spring, but then in the summertime they're using 700 gallons a day, that's an absolute indicator that something else is going on.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for now.
Okay. Bill?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, but, and, because a lot
Yeah.
going on here with the water company. So, you get either you see a violation, somebody from the Veolia sees a violation, and it's a firsthand knowledge of a violation.
Yes,
Or you get, apparently somebody calls the tip line or emails you, correct?
correct.
All right. And then what do you do then? So you just walk me through this, as if I'm a first grader
Yep.
here. You get
So we take-
somebody notifies the tip
Yeah,
line
no.
that their neighbor is
Yep.
watering their lawn at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
All right.
So
So what do
we-
you do to verify that?
So when we're driving around at night, we verify it ourselves. But if we get the tip line, we have a list of those we download from IT. We make it into a spreadsheet, and then we go to those houses at night to see if they're really watering. So we
So
follow
you
up
verified yourself?
the tip. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then how do you document the violation? What do you do then?
We tag the door, we take a picture of the tag on the door, it has the address on it, the date and time that we put the tag on the door, or letter, depending on how we're doing it that time.
All right, and you have a
now
database that is clear about whose house, when they were notified, how they were notified.
Correct.
Is that correct? I'm
Correct.
thinking like an attorney now. So
Yep, it's
we
a
have a
spreadsheet. We have a
database
spreadsheet.
saying
Yep.
that they were notified on this date with a picture that can stand up if there's litigation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All
as
right,
long
and
as we're
that, and
putting
is the
address
first
and
offense a
time.
warning or is it a fine?
First offense is a fine.
A fine.
$50 fine.
Does the fine vary depending upon the drought level, or you propose, or do we have standard fines?
Now it doesn't, but that's what we're working on now.
Yeah,
is we're gonna
which I
increase
like
the
that
fines
idea.
and control it. Yeah,
I like that idea. I think we should we should give more teeth to the fines based upon the
Yes.
drought level. So I'm going to support you there. All right, so resident X has now been found in violation, all right? So
Correct.
how do you verify a second violation?
we go back the next night, well, at a minimum, the very next night, and see if they're doing it again. And if they are, we tag the door a second time with a second notice, and they get a $100 fine.
And our regulations allow for water shut-off after a second violation.
The third time, yes. So after
The
the
third
second one, we
time.
go a third time. Once we go the third time, we tag the door with a shut-off notice, and then we shut them off.
if somebody's water is shut off, how do they get the water back on?
They call in, they pay a fee to turn it back on, and we turn it back on. Right now, I'm talking about, instead of us trying to collect the fee that night, we'll go turn it on and we'll just add it to the water bill. Because it takes a lot for our staff to go have to collect money. Then people say we don't have the money, so we're just gonna tell them we're gonna add it to the water
It's
bill.
better to add it to the water bill. I agree with that. So we're not turning water off unless it's a documented third offense. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
And we're not knocking on people's doors at the middle of the night to do this, correct?
No, we'll hit the door with the third offense, and then in the morning, when everybody wakes up, we'll go and shut them off as soon as the crew starts.
So, I mean, I think it's fine probably to put a tag on a door, but people should not be knocking on residents' doors in the middle of the night. That's very dangerous for a lot of different reasons.
Yep, we will not do that.
And then the third offense, we shut the water off.
Yep.
And I just want to make sure that our town council has reviewed all of these graduated response measures, and that this is, what we're talking about tonight is legally sufficient for due process,
today.
for
Yep,
documentation,
I spoke to him today.
for
Yep.
not only, because what we're talking about, when you turn someone's water off, we're talking about creating a big problem in that household. And I get it. I've seen the violations too, and it's driving me crazy. So I want to make sure that these people are properly notified, one time, two times, before we take a measure to turn someone's water off from the street.
Right.
Yep, so I spoke to John Coughlin this afternoon before the meeting. We did talk about the regulations are clear, but again, we won't shut it off at 4 o'clock in the morning. We will tag the door at 4 o'clock in the morning, then go back right after like 8 o'clock when the crew starts, and then we'll shut the water off.
Okay, all right. We got to make sure that it's detailed, documented. People have been told twice that they're in violation and that their water will be turned off if they don't comply.
I have been assured by Veolia that we've been documenting everything. I've seen the spreadsheet, and I haven't seen the pictures, but I've been assured that we are documenting everything, first, second, and now third violations.
Okay, all right. The other question I've got is about the transition to the new billing routes. So obviously, the 26th is come and gone. Unfortunately, the notices went out yesterday to tell people about the 26th, so they went out a little late. They went out on obviously the 28th. So people who did not pay their bill by the 26th, that charge will just carry over to next month's Hingham light bill. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right,
That's
so
correct. Yep.
if someone uses auto pay, for example, that will just be deducted, or will the light bill be deducted and the water bill will be paid separately through a check or credit card?
It's gotta be one bill. It's gotta be one bill, so, it will be deducted, but they're gonna have to set the deduction. That's what Samir was working on today from HMLP. But if you have auto pay, it's gonna auto pay your entire bill. So your bill will be a combined water and light bill. It'll auto pay your entire bill.
So the auto pay already is going to now apply to Ware River?
It won't until there's gonna be some delay in the auto pay, so that's why the thing said that for your last bill to please pay it either by check or go in and pay it, not auto pay, but just with a checking account. When the new bill comes out the first week of August, they'll be able to reassign auto pay and make sure their HMLP auto pay is up to date. So everyone needs to double check everything because the HMLP account number is gonna stay the same. So if you have an HMLP account number, that'll now become your Ware River Water account number. It'll be the same account number. For residents that don't have Hingham Light, which will be Holland North Cohasset, they will have a new account number, so they will have to reset up their auto pay.
Okay, and the bill is going to clearly itemize water charge versus electric charge, correct?
Yep, there's two.
So people will
there's
know
two
what the
sections.
different charges are.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yep.
And
Yep.
and lastly, just getting back to my previous points, so maybe explain to people why we dropped from level 3 to level 2. I got a lot of questions about that. Like, obviously, it's a good thing that we're not level 3 anymore. We're level 2. Why did you make that call to drop down? Like, was it more rain? The levels are looking better.
Yeah,
Might be
everything
good to
was looking
explain
better,
that.
but the biggest difference is that people can water their plants in their gardens on a level 2, just no lawn watering. We got a lot of, questions about can I water my plants, my tomatoes and all my plants? And I'm like, yes, because, gardens are essential because a lot of people have gardens to eat food. So it is classified as essential. So by having a level 2, they can water essential waterings.
So, and it's handheld only, or is it hose for those?
And, handheld only.
So no hose?
That's a tricky subject because that's.
Because the reason why someone asked me that, I go,
I
well,
know.
it's handheld, I guess, but I
Yeah,
want to make sure.
handheld can go- We're gonna clarify that in the new regulations, because there is part of the regulations that says watering can only, and then there's a part of the regulation that says handheld only.
Yeah.
So handheld, in my opinion, relates to a hose handheld, then a watering can is a watering can. So, I'm gonna say handheld hose, but do not hook it up to a sprinkler, or we will come by and we will give you a violation.
Yeah.
The minute you connect it to a sprinkler or something like that, absolutely, positively, yes. It'll be
So
a violation.
your sprinkler machine is out, but a hose is okay?
A hose is okay to water your garden, yep.
Okay. All right, Russ, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, go ahead, Julie.
Just another question about the tank production, the plant production. So, able to keep up with the demand, are you going to plan to change the way that you draw water and make adjustments to draw more water through and have it run through the plant, more water?
So right now, Julie, it's not the fact that we can't produce water, it's that we can't get it out of the ground. There is some water line issues that we are dealing with. It's not a big contributor to what's going on right now. But right now, across the state and across our region, everybody's in a level 2 significant drought. The groundwater levels are dropping. So wells that we would run at, call it 40 feet, are now running at 30 feet. And it has to do with the groundwater levels. So we lose that capacity, that per foot capacity of the well. So if our well can do 6 feet, 6 feet of capacity, now it's down to 4 because of the groundwater levels. There's more technical terms for it, but it's the way I can explain it. So that groundwater level, if our static level was 60, now our static level is 40. And that all has to do with groundwater, period.
And what about the draw
In
from
droughts.
Accord Pond? Is that?
We're
It's
still-
the same-
we're drawing from that, yep.
Yep.
We haven't changed what we're drawing in. You need to feed the plant to feed the tanks.
Yep.
So you need to keep your filters clean, you need to stay in compliance, and that water has to go through the plant first. You have to keep the plant healthy. Water gets redirected at certain times for filter washers. It can't all go to the tanks because you have to stay in compliance.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
We are working with Apex right now. I have another task for them, and that's going to be to look at these certain things and are there ways we can improve how we do things and how we operate, and, do we need bigger clear wells? Do we need more of this? Do we need more of that? So it's going to be part of the entire study that we're doing, but we added another task to their list.
Okay.
Great. Any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay. Okay. Did you want to add anything else, Russ?
No, I'm good. I just want to urge residents that, this world's not getting any better with groundwater. And the more we pull from our ground, the less it's going to recover over the winter time. So there is a lot of things that we all have to take our own personal things where you look at groundwater levels across the country and they're going down. So how do we manage this so that we have sufficient drinking water and sufficient fire protection, but also how do we balance it? And again, by watering your lawn every single day does not help us balance it. And I don't think it's going to get a lot better. And everybody knows that. So shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. And we can't run around and just punch holes in the ground and take more water out of it because it doesn't work that way. The aquifer is the aquifer. When it drops, it drops. And we have no control over that.
Right, right. Well, thank you for your advocacy and diligence, and we will do our best to keep communicating and educating so that we can support this entire community with the water supply. Next on the agenda is public comment. Any questions or comments? Items not on the agenda? Okay. I think we're done. Take a Sure.
I just want to thank Darren, you and your team, you've been working really hard this last several weeks, so I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. It's a team effort.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is a
thank
team
you.
effort, and we will be relying heavily on you over this next week. I know this is always a difficult period. Beginning of June and beginning of July seems to hit really hard, especially with the heat. So
Yep.
please call on us, escalate when you need support and help.
Yep,
And we will do all that we can to keep things running smoothly.
I appreciate your support.
Thank you. All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second,
Roll call, Julie?
aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. We are adjourned at 6:13 PM.